To another CSS tips and tricks. In today's video we'll learn how we can create a 12 column grid in CSS. So right here in our HTML we have a div with a class of grid container. We'll use this class to create our grid, and we have 12 items inside of this grid. Let's go to the browser. So we want to create a grid using these items right here. To create a grid in CSS, the first thing we have to do is target the wrapper class, or the parent element. So dot grid dash container. To make it a grid, is simply display with the value of grid, and then we'll have to define columns and rows. As you know, a grid is a two-dimensional layout system for the web that use columns and rows to create your layout. Let's say right now I want this grid to have 3 columns. To do that, let's use a template columns. Let's use a pixel value of 200 pixels, so 200 pixel, 200 pixel, 200 pixel. Let's save it and see right here we have our grid defined just using grid template column property with the value defined. If you notice, I need 3 values separate from each other. This is how you use it to define columns. But in CSS we can also use what is called a fractional value. So let's say we want this 3 column now to be 1 fraction, 1 fraction, 1 fraction. If you save it, now you see that our grid is bigger because fraction will take, as we define right here, 1 fraction. So each column will take 1 fraction of the available space. That's why they expanded to be full screen right here. So to create a 12 column grid, let's say, then we will use a pixel value again. So 100. We'll have to repeat this process 12 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Save it, and now you have your 12 column grid. But this is, you can see, is very verbose. So CSS has a solution for us. We'll use a function called repeat. So the first parameter will be how many times you want this function to run. So in our case, we want it to run 12 times, and for each column we want it to be 1 fraction of the available space. Let's save it, and now as you can see you have your 12 column grid. Now the final thing I want to show you is how you can define a value for your row height. Let's say right here I want to use a minimax function, so I want my minimum height to be 200 pixel, and the maximum height will be automatic, so we will depend on how many contents you have inside of each of this grid item inside of this div. So just save it. As you can see now, our grid is 20 pixel in height. This is how you can create your 12 column grids in CSS, just using grid template columns, using CSS function repeat and fraction value. So let's say, before I go, let's say if you want to use pixel value for the 3 columns and you want the column in the middle to be bigger, let's say 1 fraction, 3 fractions for the middle, and 1 fraction for the right side. Just save it, and you have it your grid defined. As you can see, it's very easy to create layouts using CSS grid. I have a full CSS tutorial that will teach you how to create grid, how to place items inside of grid, how to create your layout in CSS. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you on the next one.